Hi, welcome to the third of the three-part web accessibility series. This video will focus on how to verify that your website is accessible or not. So, you think you made an accessible website, now what? You test it. You find a different way to test it. You ask somebody else to test it. You make sure that you're not following just the letter of the law, but the spirit of the law, the spirit of the guidelines, making sure that it's accessible to anyone and everyone, regardless of their situation. So, first test you can do is see if it's responsive. If you're on a desktop, you can resize your browser and just kind of see how it fares when it shrinks and grows. You should test it on a tablet or a smartphone or any mix of those, especially if you know what device your primary audience is going to be using. Say you're in a school and you all use Chromebooks. Make sure it looks fine on the Chromebook. But go beyond what you think that you use, because there's so many devices out there. All right. Next test is pretty simple. You just try to get through your site without your mouse. Using tabs, see if you can hit everything, get to all the links, open all the navigation, have any features that you've got on your website usable other than just using your mouse. All right. So when it comes to compliance, there's different levels of ratings you can get for how accessible things are. If you're in a larger corporation or school, you might use more larger scale tools that you pay for to do analysis of your websites. For you and me, for the little day in, day out projects, there's a lot of free web tools that you have at your disposal that can be quite useful. So instead of just telling you about them, let's actually look at them. All right. So let me get to the right tab here. So if you see this page, we got two different pages here, but they're basically the same kind of content. Don't look too different, right? But if we go to the first tool, it's at wave, W-A-V-E, .webaim.org. If you go there and you paste in the URL, it's going to give you a report that tells you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. Give you some guides and tell you where some landmarks are. You'll notice that it's a nice structural outline of H1, H2. You have another heading and you have H3s underneath it. It all looks pretty good. Now, if you go over to the other website that I showed you that looked pretty much the same, you'll see that it's quite different. There are 4 errors. So we have a link that doesn't go to an anchor that's supposed to be there. We missed a couple of alt text. There's a field that doesn't have a label. And the content isn't structured fully. And it tells you here that you're alerted that it goes from an H1 to an H3. We talked about that in the last video. You need to make sure your structure is correct. If we go back, one of the other tools that WebAIM directs you towards, if you go out to webaim.org resources, I'll take just a second, and I'm looking at the web developer extension. That's what this bar is on the web browser here. And one of the things you can do is go to outline and just do outline block level elements. So it's going to tell you how the structure of the page is broken down. If you want to disable styles, you can disable all styles, and that's what it's going to look like if you have no styles applied to it, which that's pretty good. And that's a pretty straightforward look to a website. Let's get our styles back. You can also, this is useful beyond accessibility, and that's one of the things too, is a lot of these tools have cross purpose. For example, one of the add-ons you can get for Firefox is this ColorZilla tool. And it's this little eyedropper icon up in the upper right here. So what we can do is if we're looking and go like, okay, You know, that text really kind of looks light to me. So let's go back over to our WebAIM resources. And we're going to go stick in tools. There's the color contrast checker. You go ahead and go into that. It's pretty handy. I'm going to go ahead and move this over here. So you'll see paste in your foreground and background color. And it's going to tell you if you pass in normal text or in large text like headings. So if you come back here, our background is white. But if you click on your color, it's going to tell you what color it is. Okay, so it's 9999. So background color is white already. And we're just going to put in 999999. Hit enter. We failed. So even though that page had everything going for it, no errors, there was still a usability problem. That color is too close to that color. Now, since it is a large text, let's see how much, oh, for the University of Iowa, that's as dark as we'd have to go. Some areas would have to go as far as that dark. Now, as far as our small text, you'd want to go even darker. So the ColorZilla tool is awesome because it also tells you how far away things are from each other. So wherever you clicked first, it'll give you an X, Y difference. It tells you what element you're in. So as I'm moving, if you look at that last one, it's telling you P breadcrumbs. That's a class that's assigned to it. It's an H2. It's quite handy. All right. So there's a lot of different things you can do that show you how you can interact with the website and the code behind it. So hopefully you've got enough here to get you started on your way. Again, if you have any questions or comments or want to reach out, get me on Twitter or send me an email. Thanks.